I'm going to make a big clap here so that Mischa can know that this is where it actually starts.
Anything before that, Mischa, and I will hunt you down. Anything.
Hello, gamers! Welcome to Games and Feelings, an advice show about playing games, being human, and dealing with the fact that those games will involve other humans. Season 2! Because we're 1 year in, so I guess the season is yearly?
Oh,
it's an annual thing?
I didn't know
I don't know.
This is a fantastic turn of events. Season 2.
Maybe we can level up, I guess.
Made the cut, baby. We got recommissioned. Let's go.
Yeah, the executives over at Games and Feelings headquarters said, Season 2, we're doing it. I am your host and question keeper, Eric Silver, and in my arcade sports video game, my game-breaking move would be dunking the ball, then breaking the rim. It's basketball. It's arcade basketball. So I dunk the ball, I break the rim off of the backboard and wear it like a crown, and then I take out my phone and FaceTime your mom from my phone, and I get a screenshot of all three of us.
Wow.
So Jasper, what is your first of all? What's the arcade sport? What sport are you doing? And then what is your game-breaking move when your special meter goes all the way up?
Okay, I'm going to go deliciously on brand, and I'm going to go with football. And the reason that I'm saying with football is because one of my favorite games when I was younger was this game called FIFA Street.
This is inspired by the Street franchise. I was thinking NBA Street and NFL Street.
There we
we're
go.
on the same page.
Go.
Yes.
So FIFA Street, and you did the dopest moves, and you got to charge up your little game breaker, and you did a thing where you did some flips. So I think mine would be an homage, if you will, to one of my favorite TV shows as a kid, which is called Galactic Football, which is where it would be a penalty. And what I would do is I would kick the ball so hard, like directly up, and everyone would start laughing at me, being like, oh my God, he's messed it up. He's missed. What's happening? And then suddenly the sun would like be eclipsed by the ball that I kicked into the air. And then the ball would come back down spinning at such a velocity that it comes back down, bounces just on the line and into the net.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the idea that it's like, I did such a good kick that it had so much spin gathered by gravity that it would just fall directly down, but then it would just speed into the net. That's perfect.
Speed into the net. Yeah, yeah. The wild thing is I've actually seen a penalty that was pretty close to that. He basically kicked it off the crossbar. The keeper ran away celebrating, and then it bounced, because it was spinning, it bounced like down in front of the goal and then just trickled over the line.
That's tight.
And the other team was like, yeah, like, but they were like already celebrating, thinking they'd won.
There's something about football, soccer, that is so devastating that
truly,
because I think it comes down on the goalie, like there's a designated person who looks the dumbest because of the goalie. Because this doesn't happen in hockey, which is the only of the American Big Four that has like a goalie. Because hockey is so just like vibes, everyone's hitting each other. You can pick a puck up with your stick and do weird magic with it. But so the goalie is just like, I'm going to try not to die when you throw a rubber puck at me at 100 miles per hour. With soccer, the goalie is truly there to look forlorn when you get scored on.
Yeah. And just like punch the ground, or, you know what I mean, do the classic goalie move where they shot so good they just don't move and they just watch it fly into their own net like a sad puppy dog. It's awful. Yeah. A little Games and Feelings update though from me. I'm now hugely into ice hockey. It is great.
You did say this.
It is so great. This is the most unhinged. It genuinely feels like the English and the Americans got together and made a game and took all the most crazy bits of the games that they liked and put it into one sport where you're allowed to punch each other. It's crazy. I was watching it and they were like, oh, when the gloves come off, that means they can fight each other. And I was like, what?
Yeah, and then everyone just backs up.
Everyone just lets them do it. Like, it's like, and they take these like pugilist stances. It's like, what is happening? I love this.
My favorite thing I think about hockey fights because we're going to get some context around this in a moment. Yeah. But my favorite thing about hockey fights is, so there's the boxing, but the main move is to jersey someone, which is to grab the bottom of their jersey, pull it up over their head so it's inside out, and then you can beat them and they can't see where they're going. Like, that's mandatory. That's the move. That's not dirty.
That's the move.
So, well, here's the context, is that now we're in season 2. We've passed the anniversary episode. Mm-hmm. Jasper has been in the United States for 3 weeks and has a lot of the stuff that we talked about with Caldwell Tanner on a previous episode, some of it has come to pass, where they brought you to hockey. I don't know if it's major league or minor league, and you're enjoying hockey now.
Look, all I'm going to say is I'm a little devil. I'm a New Jersey devil, baby. Let's go. Hughes crew up in here. We've got the 2 Hughes brothers. They are doing outrageous stuff. They did outrageous stuff. Look, we got a little unfortunate in the playoffs this year, but we're going to come back, okay? We're going to come back next year. We got a young, exciting team, and I love it. I'm in, Eric. I'm in.
So did you saw an LA Kings game, I guess?
No. They got knocked out the week before I got to LA. They got knocked out of the playoffs like the week before I got to LA. So that was the plan, was to go to a Kings game. But yeah,
I hear from LA people who are not big sports people, other than loving the LA Lakers. Like, they love the Kings. So that's what I assumed. So what, you just started watching hockey when you were in the United States?
Yep.
On TV?
I was watching hockey with Brian Murphy, who's a big Devils fan.
Right. And I was wondering how you got the New Jersey in there.
Yeah.
Local New Jersey resident living in Los Angeles, Brian Murphy.
The only person,
Jesus
truly
Christ.
the only guy.
Him, Bon Jovi, and Bruce Springsteen were all like, Jasper, do you want to watch hockey?
It was me, Brian Murphy, Bon Jovi, and Bruce Springsteen. It was all 4 of us just sat around watching it. Pretty heartbreaking end to the series, but, the boys did us proud. And do you know what's wild, Eric, is the fact that I truly didn't have a clue about ice hockey 3 weeks ago, and now I care so deeply to the point where my day was actively ruined by the New Jersey Devils getting knocked out of the playoffs the other day. I am a ridiculous human, and I completely appreciate any flack that anyone wants to give to me.
No, that's incredible, and I love it. Hockey is something, because it's just like,
it's so vibes,
It's
man.
just vibes. So vibes. There's a lot of rules, like about icing and blue lines and offsides and stuff. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand offsides in soccer, and I've seen it so much. It's still very confusing to me. But because I like sports where you intentionally run by other people to score instead of being held back. As that
happens in football, you just need to do it with the ball at your feet.
Shut up. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. But hockey is all vibes. The thing you said about Americans and British coming together, I'm like, yeah, that's called New England and Canada. Yeah.
I literally thought that the second I said it. I was like, oh yeah, that's Canada.
I think about this a lot whenever I go to Boston. I'm like, everyone's ancestors here, they used to be British and now they're here. Yeah. I think that every time I go there. So yeah, no, you're 100% correct about hockey.
Yeah, absolute vibes. But what a sport! What a crazy sport! What a crazy sport that also doesn't seem to be that popular. Yet everyone is paid just the most extortionate amount of money, and I'm like, how does there's some maths here that's not adding up. I don't know what's going on. Everyone's paid so much money.
I can't compare anything to like NBA or NFL, because I know that the salary cap is going way up and how much people are getting paid for good reason, because they're, sports players are workers. They have a union. I support all that. I'm trying to think specifically. I don't know enough about hockey to tell you specifically, but I think that the people who love hockey love it so much that it props up the entire fact that it's a regional sport.
That is probably true. Murph, on finding out that the New Jersey Devils got into the next round of the playoffs, did buy one of his cats a little bandana, like a little New Jersey bandana. So, yes, I would concur. The one ice hockey fan, hardcore ice hockey fan that I know, does indeed seem to be very in and all in. And to be honest, I love the jerseys.
They're
they
great.
Look so cool. I genuinely think I would love to start a little collection of ice hockey jerseys, because they'd also just be super comfy, like a nice oversized shirt when it's a little chilly in the winter in England. Oh, yes, please.
I like that. there's a running theme of, and I blame Kevin Smith for this, but bigger dudes wearing hockey jerseys is a real trope. So like I would love that, but I can't. Like it's like, oh, you expect that. Because I guess I will be sweating in 5 minutes because I didn't layer properly enough and this is too hot. Yes, you're absolutely right.
And this is a thick big tent for me to just be sweaty under. Like,
yeah. And it's also like one of those pop culture hockey jerseys, so like the Joker is on it. It's a purple and green hockey jersey with the Joker's face on it.
This has been something that's come up a lot recently, which is seeing people with like the Joker like stickers on like their cars and stuff. And it's like it's such an intense feeling of just like, oh, you guys missed the point. Like you really just okay.
Is this you being in the United States and seeing this, or is this just in general?
This is both.
Okay, great. Because I was like, it would be so funny if the UK were like, I don't care for that chap. The United States is just into Joker.
Yes, I feel indifferent about that strange man with the green hair. No, I just it's a very different. Like, hey, look, if you're like a 15-year-old and you love DC, go for it. Absolutely fine. If you're 45 years old and you have a Joker bumper sticker because you think he's an anarchist and he has some cool ideas, we need to have a chat.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. We have King Charles here, and King Charles has his first decree saying, no jokers.
No jokers.
The Clown Prince of Gotham is not allowed here in the United Kingdom.
We don't care for his particular brand of politics. He actually said he didn't like the monarchy at one point. So he's dead, and I want to see no pictures of him anywhere. Thank you.
He sent us a package, and inside was a bomb, and then it exploded, but it went bang and said Brexit this, and I didn't really understand that joke.
Brexit this.
Yeah,
it was just like a big penis came out and it said Brexit this.
And we're like, thank you.
I can't tell you the legions. And I mean legions, including myself, of people who would dress up like the Joker and take to the streets if that happened. Like that I could deal. That I could deal with. That is hilarious. That is both hilarious and the right level of anarchy. So saying Brexit this, absolutely perfect. Genius.
They shouldn't be so worried about Princess Diana and her family and Meghan Markle. They need to be worried about the Joker.
They need to be worried about the Joker. And the thing is, all I'm saying is no one's seen Harry and Batman in the same place.
That's true. That's very true.
And turns out Harry has left the family just so that he could be their Dark Knight, their sworn protector this whole time. What a beautiful story.
Do you want to know how I got these scars? No, I don't.
No, I don't.
No.
Bop. No. Punch him in the mouth.
This is inappropriate dinner conversation. Like, sorry, we already have a clown prince of crime. He lives in Wexensham. Well, if you haven't noticed, this is going to be more of a vibesy episode where I do have an advice question planned, but we don't necessarily have to do it but I just wanted to catch up with Jasper because Jasper has been out living his life, not recording podcasts for the last few weeks, and I just wanted to catch up with you and hear how everything's been going, man.
It's been so wild. Like, went to an event in Salt Lake City, so I went there for the first time ever, seeing a little bit more of America. Salt Lake is like the strangest geographic place I've ever been. Mm-hmm. I can 100% understand how someone rocked up there a while ago and went, "This is some divine shit right here," because it's like this flat land. And you kind of stand there and you look around for like basically 360. You do a 360 and there are these genuine like godlike mountains right there. Like it's on like all around you. It's so intense. And you're super high up as well. So like I got like a weird like altitude cold thing, which I didn't realize was a thing, just because I was too high in the air. but there was mountains. But I was high. It was just an intense experience.
It's like, who thought to build Salt Lake City there, you know?
Yeah. It's just, and there's these salt flats that look like they were like from the time before. You know what I mean? If a T-Rex was running across one of them, I'd be like, "Yep, cool, like fine." So yeah, just a crazy place. Had a very fun time there. Got to meet a couple folks from the space who I haven't had a chance to talk to yet. And then I've been over in LA for a couple weeks, which has been an absolute blast. Getting to hang out with people, getting to work on some stuff, and just really getting into ice hockey. That's been the thing. And just honestly, like trying to unplug a little bit from things. Like I'd had my honeymoon like right before this as well.
I haven't. It's been very hard, and I'm not. This is not dragging you, but this is why I wanted to.
That's why
catch up.
Drag me. Come on,
Jasper.
Go.
I've literally only been able to like talk to you like twice over the last like 6 weeks, and for good reason too. Because you had your wedding, and then your honeymoon, and then you went on this United States trip over to the west side of our giant ass country.
So giant.
It's so big. It's so large. So that's just why I wanted to. That's just why I wanted to catch up.
Yeah, no, it has been crazy. I feel like I have neglected most of the responsibilities in my life for the last 6 weeks. Which there is a certain joy that comes with that.
Oh sure.
But yeah, I am definitely excited. I'm flying back early next week, and I'm very excited to be like just like back in my own bed. Get the old computer fired up, check my emails properly for the first time in 2 months. You know what I mean? I feel like there's just a lot of things like that I'm looking forward to doing. But I'm excited. I'm always excited and happy to get to talk to my friend Eric Silver. So this is nice. It's a nice little pre-home treat.
Oh, thanks. What if I was at your house when you came back? I'm like, what's up? You immediately need to do more social interaction.
That would be, I'm going to be honest. It would be a nightmare, but only in the fact that like if anyone who's not my wife is at my house when I get home, I think I'll cry. You know what I mean? Fair. Like that's all I need is just to like be with my wife and turn the lights off and just be silence. There just be silence. For just a little while, because I'm I'm an extroverted person, but there definitely gets a point where I'm like,
you gotta recharge.
My batteries are kaputska. They're gone.
Really quickly on that, I feel like the people who came up with the introverted extroverted stuff
just don't.
Who recharges their battery from social interaction?
Nobody.
I don't think that's true.
Nobody.
Coming from two people who like talking to other people
a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. We like talking a lot.
I like being around other people. I also need to like go and lay down for an extended period of time. I don't know if that's what I feel like the rule book there was written by the introverts there.
I will say I think that there is something to like if I haven't spoken to anyone in a while, I definitely feel myself getting like a grumpy little boy, and I feel like I need to go out and just talk to someone and feel like
100% agree.
100% so I feel like there can be a mutual charging, but the idea that you get like you can just endlessly talk to people, like new people all day, every day, and not at any point need to recharge isn't crazy.
No.
Absolutely crazy. No.
I wish that there was a definition that's not like, I like talking to people and I don't. But there's not a good definition that's like, well, I recharge by being by myself and you recharge like an insane person going to parties and being around others. It's like, that's not real. That's not real either. I don't think that's real either.
Maybe, I don't know. There are a lot of people who like work a 9 to 5 and then Friday and Saturday night, they're out, at the club. You know what I mean?
At the club. I guess we're also recording a podcast, so we're not those types of people who go out and recharge with other people. Jasper, I want to do a really quick quiz just about things that you learned about Utah. Do you know which of the 4 major, or I'll include 5 with your beloved, not American football, which professional sports exist in Salt Lake City?
None. It's all horse riding.
The answer is both basketball and soccer. Can you believe that?
Wow. Okay, that's genuinely quite a surprise to me. Yeah. All I saw was horses. Truly more horses than people. So that's, I assumed, is the only sport that they play.
The Utah Jazz, very popular and very pretty successful. But
I have heard of them.
They're still called the Jazz, aren't they?
Yeah, which is, I saw me, Jeremy, and Gabe, we were the only black people there.
So, I told you. I said that. I said that to you.
Say.
Now that the Jazz aren't in the playoffs, you are going to be one of the only black people there.
Do you know what's crazy, though, is that there was a truck went past us when we were on the road. It was like this big, huge truck, Jamaican like food, like jerk chicken and stuff. Really? And it looked legitimately Jamaican. It didn't look like white people Jamaican. It looked legitimately Jamaican. But we couldn't see into the truck because it had blacked out windows. But we nearly jumped out and ran after it.
I mean, that's incredible, honestly.
So that's the closest I came to seeing a black person, because I think there was a black person driving that truck, but I don't know for sure.
That's four people.
Four, baby.
Hey, it's Eric, and I picked up some snacks for Games and Feelings. I got guacamole. The secret is putting in a lot of lime. I even got those tortilla chips you like. That's a touch of lime, so even more lime we're putting in the guacamole. Please support Games and Feelings and the incredible independent content that we do here, and join the Patreon at patreon.com/gamesandfeelings. Just like newest patrons Maria, Poldson, and Bray, you are all the best, and our Patreon is strong and mighty. I love doing the show. It's been really fun to reflect on the last year of Games and Feelings. I love going weekly. I love the cadence we have. I love the guests we get. I love doing this with Jasper. I love doing this with Amanda. It's really, really fun. And I also love all the questions all of you are sending in. And the idea of actually like giving good advice is such a good feeling. So thank you to everyone who supports. And even more of you can join up and support. Shout out to producer level patrons Polly Burge, Kelsey Duffy, and Peyton, who have PDFs of tabletop RPGs from big companies and aren't afraid to share it with whoever needs it. I'm also the same, so if anyone's like on the Multitude Discord, for example, just reach out and I can give you whatever PDFs I have. So, I don't know, just think about it. If you like this show, you're going to love the other shows that are part of the Multitude Podcast Collective, just like Join the Party, our actual play Dungeons & Dragons and more games show. Join the Party is an actual play podcast with tangible worlds, genre-pushing storytelling, and collaborators who make each other laugh every single week. I think that I'm playing the best Dungeons & Dragons I've ever played in my entire life. I'm also definitively the best DM in podcasting, so I think you're really going to enjoy it, and I'm just having a really, really good time, especially with Campaign 3. We're currently doing a pirate story set in a world of plant and bug people. A return to a fictional world has been really, really great. It is actually a weekly podcast. 3 out of 4 of the weeks we put out fictional episodes, and that 4th week we do an after party where we answer your questions about the show and playing tabletop RPGs, which has always been a big tenet of the show. So what are you waiting for? Pull up a chair and join the party. Search for Join the Party in your podcast app or go to jointhepartypod.com. 2 short announcements. I rejiggered the content calendar so that Jasper and I could kick it on this particular episode sooner rather than later. I talked about it before, but, Jasper was away, so I recorded a backlog, and we're basically, the timeline got all messed up. So this is the second of 2 anniversary episodes in a row. We're going to go back to the regular cadence. Jasper might be missing, but he'll be back ASAP. I'm actually recording an episode with him tomorrow with some guests. It's going to be sick. Also, I wanted to let you know that we are going to do ad-free episodes very shortly. So in order to test whether or not you do or do not want ad-free episodes, I'm inserting Buddy Holly, but if it was Bob on Battlefield right here. So you can decide if you want to keep this and you want to listen to the mid-rolls, or if you want to skip the whole thing altogether. This is your test. Make sure to join up at patreon.com/gamesandfeelings. We'll be back to the show after this song. Well, Jasper, I do want to ask, because since this is the first episode of season 2, we went all the way around the cycle.
All the way around the sun.
In Animal Crossing, we enjoyed the winter version and the spring version and the summer version, the fall version. Now we're all the way back around. It's just been the anniversary of Games and Feelings. Do you like being on the show? Do you like it?
This is the best. I get to hang out with you. We very, very occasionally answer and give people advice, which is very funny to me. And I think it gives us exactly the space that we need to geek out about games and occasionally talk about sports. And I absolutely love it.
We are definitely going to do that sports episode at some point. Please send the questions. We can also just talk about it generally. We do have a few questions here. But yeah, I think we'll do a straight sports episode at some point.
I need it. I need a sports episode.
Talking about them sports. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I wanted to bring you on because also it's an excuse, because when you're in your 30s, you have to start a podcast to have friends. So I'm glad that we get to spend the time together. But also, you're being the one who's been bringing on the really fun guests that we've had lately. Like Caldwell, and there are some other people and Drac that has been really fun, and hopefully more soon. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, we got some people in the pipeline for sure, which is very, very exciting. It is much like ice hockey. It's pure vibes and all the fun. So I love it.
Fun, I love being here. Well, hey, Jasper, do you want to talk about some games that are giving us feelings?
Yeah.
Listen, I have a lot of Tears of the Kingdom stuff to talk about, which makes us the same.
I think I'm happy to even forego my go here, because I think that there is only one thing that needs to be talked about. It appears that you have a TOTK sort of tattooed into your forehead, and I can only assume that, much like everyone that I've been around for the last 48 hours, the only thing that exists is Tears of the Kingdom. So please tell me, how
I'm fine.
Are you enjoying this game?
I was going to be like, hey, Jasper, what games are you playing to amuse yourself on these long airplane rides?
Absolutely not. Go for it. Tell me about it. Tell me about Tears of the Kingdom.
I want to speak about something very specific, because again, this is coming out the 26th. I know that the Tears of the Kingdom, the wave is cresting. People are going to be playing it. Like, we're past the video game people getting codes and the review things. We're kind of be past like the initial, I'm going to strap Koroks to stuff and torture them, which I don't understand. Koroks are my favorite little boys, and I love. So do you know the reason why this is happening? So the Koroks are like one of the many things you can like discover in Breath of the Wild and now Tears of the Kingdom. They give you like a little poop, a little seed, and you can redeem that to make your like inventory bigger. But now, so usually you had to like just poke around the world and find them. Like, you got to lift up a rock, or they're under a bridge or whatever. Now there's these things where one of them has a big backpack. It's like, I overpacked my backpack. I don't know where my friend is. And the friend is like all the way over there. And you need to use all of your abilities to bring them over to their friend. And then you get 2 seeds. So I honestly think it's a really interesting remix of what they did before. And I like helping out this little guy. But everyone's torturing them, and I don't know why.
That's messed up. In all of the games that that you do this doesn't feel like the intention by which the game makers intended for you to use this feature.
No, help him.
It's upsetting.
Strap and make a little cart and take your horse and then ride the cart with your horse over to his friend, and then you drop him off and you get 2 seeds. You get 2 secret things.
Seeds. That's what everyone's missing out on. You need to keep your eyes on the prize and get them 2 seeds, okay?
Stop making torture devices for TikTok and help out this little guy.
I've also seen a flame-throwing penis.
Yes.
That has been made.
That's a classic.
That seems to be quite a popular one at the moment.
Jasper, I would like to say, and I'm going to make a note here, if you want to skip Tears of the Kingdom talk, which I already talked about the Koroks a little bit, but that's not a spoiler about anything. The thing is, you can't spoil Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think that, like, the story is better than it was in Breath of the Wild. In Breath of the Wild, it was just vibes, right?
Sure.
Tears of the Kingdom, there's actually a very interesting story, and there's some stuff. I'm not going to spoil any of that. Some of this stuff I'm going to talk about one specific element, which has some things that I discovered that I could spoil for people. So if you want to skip this whole part, if you're listening, you can just skip forward. I'll put a timestamp in the episode description. But I want to talk about one specific thing, which is my single favorite thing about Tears of the Kingdom, which are the depths. Have you heard about the depths?
Oh, it's where you dive down, right, into the into those like big chasms, and it takes like 2 whole minutes to like dive down through the holes. Yeah.
Right. So like there's the sky and there's the regular land and then there's the depths where you jump in through these gloom holes. And when you jump through, you come down there and everything's totally dark. And I'm like, this is the tightest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It is so cool. What I love about the game in general, but specifically the depths, is that the tone of Tears of the Kingdom is both goofier and scarier and spookier than Breath of the Wild.
I think they come in hand. Goofy and spooky, people don't like. They definitely come hand in hand. You've got to be a little campy to pull off a good horror movie. You know what I mean? So I'm with you. Okay, carry on.
So I love it. The main thing that you have to do is that it's dark as hell, so you have to throw these things called bright root seeds everywhere, which is this thing you can find in caves. Also, there's a whole caves and wells mechanic that's on up there, which is also tight as hell. I love going underground in this game.
Yeah, you just love being a little diglet, little
guy.
Boy. Yeah.
So you throw the seeds and the seeds light up, and then it only lights up like a very small area. So you got to keep doing that as you look around, and then you start fighting things. All the enemies are surrounded in gloom, which makes them harder. It's just so interesting down there, and this light root throwing mechanic is so essential to the new thing they're doing in Tears of the Kingdom, which is throwing items and attaching items to arrows, which is like, so they're reinforcing the mechanics in a specific area that needs this mechanic, which is why I love it so much.
I think that's been my general feeling with the Zelda games. I won't protest to have played a ton of Zelda games before, but I think always the joy and the fun for me has been like how perfectly they pull off the simplest of mechanics and the simplest of ideas. You know, how there's no need for, I mean, Link hasn't said a damn thing in 30 odd years, you know what I mean?
He just goes,
they've been making these games. I think that there's something so quintessentially like kind of beautiful and in the simplicity of the games, and how honestly focusing more on vibes, focusing more on the internal emotional journey that you go on as a player, as opposed to just like, we're gonna do the coolest thing and make it the coolest thing. Because I think quite often you can get into like one of my pet peeves with video games is when you get to a new area and the game's like, okay, we have a new mechanic for you, and I'm like, but why can't I just do the thing that I've been doing and perfecting and putting all my points into? And do you know what I mean? Like, why am I suddenly now having to just do an entirely new thing, which won't be able to do in any other area? You know what I mean?
For Tears of the Kingdom specifically, it's funny they did that without a skill tree. They did it by letting you do the type of play that you're good at. By what I did is like I've made my kind of like loadout of how I deal with combat. And that's instead of like, I put all my points in archery, which I do anyway. It's like, I'm going to throw this thing and I'm going to make sure I have these good weapons. So it comes out through play instead of skill trees.
Yeah, which I think there's definitely merits to both of those things, but I think that there's something so that generally like Nintendo does very well with its platforms is just understanding the platform and why people are there and what people want out of it. And actually I think it's probably something that PlayStation's done a little bit better, because I think that a lot of people that have a PlayStation 5 want these just ridiculously gorgeous looking linear ass games where you feel like you're in a movie. Do you know what I mean? I do think that there's something to understanding why people are specifically playing this console and what is the experience that they want. And I think that literally I've been milling around and talking to people in LA, and everyone is saying how good this game is and losing their damn minds about it, to the point where I was like, hey, what are we doing for lunch? And it was just like, oh yeah, sorry, no, Tim.
Are you allowed to play? Or do you just have to watch?
Well, I don't have my Switch with me, which was slightly intentional, because I was like, I know if I have my Switch with me, that's all I'm going to do. And like, I didn't fly halfway across the world to play
Tears of the Kingdom.
Play Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I can definitely go home now, have a bit of a break, and just like enjoy the hell out of it. Do you know what I mean? So like that's my plan. But yeah, everyone around me is playing it to the point where the people I'm staying with had to buy a second Switch.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because they were like, well, I want to play. Well, I want to play.
That's wild. That's like a Nintendo commercial.
And you know what? I have nothing but respect for these people.
No, I respect
nothing
that.
But respect.
One of the first questions we ever did on Games and Feelings was, should I have 2 TVs so me and my wife can play at the same time? And we said yes. We said yes. So honestly, Games and Feelings approved.
Yeah, Games and Feelings approved. Absolutely correct.
Jasper, can I tell you some tight shit that happens in the depths?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have some specific stuff. One, the coolest monsters are down there. For example, there's a boss you can only see down there, which is called the Obsidian Frox. It's like a giant toad that lives underground, and it also has like rocks coming out of its back that you need to hit. It's kind of its weak points, and it can swallow you up, and it has a big eye in the middle of its face, and it's really, really cool. And it's scary. And
that's an amazing name as well.
The thing that comes up below it's the Obsidian Frox, Scourge of the Depths.
Sick
as hell.
Sick. So tight.
Jasper, all of the cool like fruit that you can harvest are down there in the depths. For example, the bomb fruit.
Okay.
The puff shroom, which when you throw it, a cloud of spores goes out, so you can go around and just sneak attack people. You just go up behind them and sneak attack them.
That.
And the muddle bud, which Zelda has been introducing the ability to make someone go crazy and attack their friends. So the best stuff is in the most combat specific stuff that's not like elemental is in the depths. So me spending my time down there, I'm like fucking kitted out.
Yeah. Oh, and again, it's rewarding the way that you want to play, because for all those little scaredy boys and girls out there, probably, not enjoying being down in the depths. And I get that, you know what I mean? Like, I completely understand that. That's not probably the way I'm already feeling. I'd just be up in the sky. I'd be like, ooh, yeah, me floating around on the clouds and doing cool Zelda stuff up here. and I bet you it's a whimsical, lovely time up there.
But I'm just down in the depths.
And
like
you're
a
just down
goblin.
in the depths like a little gremlin. Yeah. Like a little gremlin just collecting your bomb fruits.
Yeah. There's also a ton of mining down there, which is a whole thing about like making sure you have enough like hammers so you attach like a stick to a boulder or something. So there's a whole like mining mechanic that's happening there at the same time. But I want to talk about vehicles really quickly.
I've seen some vehicles.
So the vehicles are obviously everywhere, right? And that's a major component of what we're doing here is building the vehicles, making the dick robot, that shoots flames. They have little areas in the depths where there's like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff to like build something and you can navigate. So it's really helpful to make like a glider while you're flying through the darkness, and you can like throw light bombs everywhere trying to open stuff up. And this is kind of a spoiler here. So if you really want to skip forward, this is something that I discovered. And because I've put like, I guess 30, 40 hours into this by now, probably more by the time that you're listening to this. Jasper, my favorite enemies in Zelda are down there. It's the Yiga clan, who are the goofiest motherfuckers who they teleport their ninjas, and they're idiots and doofuses, and they keep falling over themselves, including their Master Koga, who is always like, ooh, everything's bad. Link, he has so much bravado. He's like a wrestler. It's honestly incredible. So the thing about also the Yiga clan is that they teleport, one, but two, they're obsessed with bananas. So they always have bananas on them, which is always super funny. Which the funny thing is, when you cook bananas up, they turn into a better attack power, like potions. But it's more funny seeing an enemy drop a bunch of bananas.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I love some little goofy boys. That's so funny.
And it makes sense because they were in the previous game and you defeated them, and then the last thing that happened in Breath of the Wild is the Master Koga fell down a big pit. So now he's in the depths, which totally makes sense.
Oh my god.
And that's why they're like booping around down there. But the thing about the vehicles is that now there's a quest that seems to tie into the main line, which is honestly wild. There's a lot of side quests that are like that tie into the main story. So Master Koga's down there and you have to fight him a bunch of times because the Giga clan has taken over some abandoned mines that are in the depths. You end up fighting the Yiga clan and Master Koga while he's using vehicles. He can build vehicles. So he's driving around in a little cart. He's driving around in a little boat. He's driving around in a little plane. And you, as Link, are having a fucking air-to-air I did a sea battle. I was on a boat, and he was on a boat, and I was shooting him with my bow. And that's in the game. Sick. That's part of the main story, Jasper.
Wow.
In a Zelda game, a boat-to-boat action.
Boat-to-boat action, baby. Bodie McBoatface versus his brother.
It's honestly, like, I was so surprised that it actually happened in a Zelda game. And the Yiga clan, it's just been so much fun. Also, there's a ton of secrets down there. If you find stuff in the sky, you can find an old, like, scroll, and then I'll put an X, like a treasure map X, on the map in the depths, and you're like, ho, what's down there? But the thing is, it's dark, and there are tons of walls everywhere. Like, you can't pass this area, so you got to go around, or you got to find a secret passageway. So it's like, oh, well, I'm going to drop whatever I'm fucking doing and go immediately back into the depths. And figure out where the X is. So the depths, I think, are now in my top 3, if not top 2, settings of video games.
Wow. Okay.
And not even the whole thing. It's like the depths and like the oldest house from Control, which was like a government facility that's alive at the same time, which is tight as hell. Control is also one of my favorite games of all time.
Control is a lot of fun. I didn't actually manage to play enough of Control, but I meeting to dip back into it, so maybe I should. You
totally should. It's more of a shooter than you think it is, which I'm kind of like meh on, but like the vibes and the setting of it are so good. They're like, anyway, the point is, the depths are so interesting. It's my favorite part of this game. And whenever I get bored, I can just go do something else, and then I can come back when I get frustrated, when I don't want to do the darkness stuff anymore. So
good. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like absolute... That alone is giving me a reason to want to play it. Like, a top 2 favorite video game settings? That is wild coming from Eric Silva.
I can't think of another one. Like, maybe I'll come up with something later, but like, I've never been gripped by a setting so much,
but still to have something so evocative that it's down to like the simple mechanical requirements for like existing in that place, I think is very, very entertaining and kind of rare, honestly, because I think a lot of games can fall into a thing of like, oh, this just feels like a kind of a copy and paste version of a previous area, but with light or without light or in the sky or whatever. But the logs are all in the same place, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm no shade at Elden Ring, because the reveal, knowing that there was a bottom half, a second land in Elden Ring below, but it wasn't different from the stuff above. It was just more of the same. This is literally like, this is totally different. The form, everything that you've been doing, these specific mechanics are going to be incredibly important. One, making sure using the materials, and 2, making sure that you have something that can break rocks. All incredibly important. And that's how much I love form following function in my games. And like that's what it is, and that's why I love it so much.
It gives it a little ecosystem and a little feel of like a living, breathing kind of secondary world down there. I think it's very, very cool. Very cool.
Absolutely. Okay. You can now come back.
Come back, baby.
Jasper, since it's just vibes, I did want to get you a present for season 2.
Whoa, okay.
For season 2 of Games and Feelings, the second year 2, 2 Jasper, 2 Games and Feelings, 2 games, 2 feelings.
2 boys, 2 feelings.
2 boys, 2. That's the name of that's the episode title, 2 boys, 2 feelings with Jasper Cartwright. Jasper, would you like to play a little game?
I love the games.
Jasper, did you miss? I know you were like getting married and like on your honeymoon with your beloved, but like, did you miss my games?
Yeah, I missed your games. I missed your games and how infuriating they are, because it'll almost certainly be that the answer is exactly the same on all but one of them, or all of them, or none of them. And so I can't wait to see how you're going to try and shenanigan me into 0 points today.
That's true. I'm glad you've been noticing. I wanted to see if you would notice.
Oh, immediately.
Jasper, this game is called Jasper, I Would Never Lie to You, except in a game that we're playing right now, board game edition.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's go.
I'm going to read you the title of a board game. You need to tell me if it's real or fake. What the real ones come directly from Board Game Geek, the deposit which ranks the best board games of all time. And the fake ones come from the board game name generator, which is my favorite thing that exists, and whoever made it put a lot of time and effort into it.
Is that on Fantasy Name Generator?
It is.
That website is
I fucking love Fantasy Name Generator.
Like, whatever you folks are doing over there, it is truly whatever divine power exists in the world, you're doing their work by creating that website. There has never been a scenario where I've needed a name for truly anything that I haven't been able to find on that website. It is unbelievable. You guys are incredible.
My favorite two, I think, are board game name generator and horse name generator are the two from there that are my favorite.
So good. So good. I love that website so much.
I also want to give a shout out because these people obviously know what they're doing. There was you know how there's usually like a few paragraphs explaining how the generator works, what it's about, blah, blah, blah. There's a really specific one for board games, which is this. Note that it's possible to find a name in this generator that might already belong to an existing game. With thousands of games out there and 100 more being released every year, it's impossible to keep track of this all in order to keep this generator up to date. If you're looking for a name of an official game of your own, it's best to at least do a Google search first to check that the name hasn't already been taken. This guy knows. They know he's a gamer.
I love it. I love it so much. They know.
Okay.
They know.
So, Jasper, you have to tell me if it's real or if it's fake, and you get extra points if you explain what this game is while you guess it's real or fake. All right, here we go. The first game is called Trigger Finger. Trigger Finger.
Trigger Finger. Trigger Finger is fake.
Okay, and what's the game?
If it was real, Trigger Finger would be a game where it's okay. So it's a long, thin board, and you've got two cowboys on either side of the board, and the aim is to get your cowboy to the middle, and you basically do like a shootout. And what you have to do is you have to press the buzzer. Like when their little beep goes off, you press the buzzer the quickest. But if you're the second, if you're slow and the other person gets there first, you get like a little electric shock.
Ooh, I like that. It's dangerous.
Trigger Finger.
Jasper, you get 2 points. 1 because it was fake, and 2 because I like the game.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
There is another cowboy one. It's called Bang, and I think it involves like shooting rubber bands when you make like a finger with your like finger guns. And I never really understood it as much, and I think that your thing makes more sense. It's more about the reaction time than the shooting.
Yes, for sure. Especially when we're talking about rubber bands being famously inaccurate. Famously hard to get them on the bullseye.
Yes. Okay, this game is called Flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will be flabbergasted if this isn't real, because I feel like this should 100% be a very cute, quaint little British game called Flabbergasted, and you play as these little kind of blob-like creatures, a little Among Us style, and you are in a sort of dystopian world where humans have died, but you're in like a little English village, and it's like the ruins of a little English village, and you're going around trying to figure out like what words mean and stuff like this. Like there's like a mechanic about like gaining knowledge about the world, and if you're bad at it, you're flabbergasted, but that's okay because you're just a cute little boy trying to figure out what happened in the ruins of this English town.
Are they fae, or you're all just like you're a real English boy?
No. These are like little radioactive blobs that have come out of the nuclear waste.
Oh, okay. I understand.
And have sentience.
I love how like you can get an expansion pack here, maybe where one of them is like what do you call when the fairies take you away and replace you with the thing?
I know what you mean. Yeah, I have no idea.
Everyone who listens to this show is yelling at what it is, but you know what it is.
The editor is currently screaming.
Yeah, Mischa's yelling. Mischa's yelling at us.
Screaming.
Jasper, I love that game, so you get 1 point. However, Flabbergasted, fake.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
All right,
Let's see.
Jasper, how about the game called Too Many Bones?
I mean, Operation already exists, so I kind of feel like that's the only version of this game.
It's just Operation.
It's just Operation, but you're taking out the extra bones.
Yeah. Is it a real game?
Maybe it's an expansion. Okay, I'm going to say it's an expansion for Operation. Operation : Too Many Bones. Nah, it's fake.
Too Many Bones is a real game that came out in 2017.
Oh shit, I need to Google this.
Here's the summary. Toss gobs of unique dice in an epic adventure en route to a final boss showdown.
What?
I know. I did not look any more about it.
What? Okay. Okay, sound off. Go for it. Too Many Bones. Let's go. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. Let's go.
It has real, like, goblin core energy.
Okay, so are you playing as little skellies? Is that what it is?
That's my understanding. Again, I didn't really do much research because I wanted just the summary to speak for itself.
Sure.
Hey, Jasper, how about the game Wingspan?
Wingspan is real, and I've played it. And the version of the game I want it to be is it is a box filled with a random assortment of possibly interconnectable items, like almost like Connects. If you ever play with Connects, like Lego, but for adults with a midlife crisis incoming, and you basically have to connect them all together on a team to make you give yourself the biggest wingspan.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Is it like timed?
Yeah, obviously. You have to do 2 teams. You have to be 2 teams of 2. And one person is building on the other person. The other person has to stay really still so that they don't break their very fragile little wings that are made out of...
It's a party game.
It's a party game. It's for sure. It's a party game. Yeah.
Yes, Wingspan's a good. Wingspan is a real game. I wanted to include this because Wingspan is a game about like bird watching,
eggs,
and yes, and can we just talk about the absolute glow up that bird watching has gotten over the last few years?
I think maybe because we were stuck inside for a while. Everyone's now just like, go outside, watch the birds. That's not the boring and mundane thing that I used to think it was. Now I think it's beautiful and wholesome and brings me closer to nature. I think people are just like, I'll go outside. Yeah, I'd love that.
Most acceptable nerd hobbies, I think one is still Marvel. Reading comics is one now. But 2, I think overtaking both video games and tabletop RPGs. I think bird watching is number 2.
That is the biggest swing that you've ever taken in your life, and you are completely incorrect.
I don't know. Bird watching.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But you're wrong. You're wrong for the reason that most of the people who have cukey little hobbies, who like live in cities, would have to truly drive for an hour plus to see one bird that's not a fucking pigeon or a seagull.
There is urban bird watching, Jasper. They're going to come for you. The birds. The birders.
What I'm saying is, okay, look, listen, come for me. Teach me where I can find these birds, because I would be happy to be able to spot something more interesting than a seagull or a pigeon when I'm like walking about my day. So I'm willing to learn, but until you teach me, I disagree.
Okay. Jasper, I have a lightning round for you, which is about French words. There are both English names on the generator and French names on the generator, because again, fantasy name generator goes so fucking hard in the paint, so
unreasonably hard, and I love it. Okay, let's go.
So I have one that's called Sans O's, and the other one is called Orleans. Or it's like Orleans, but with French. Orleans.
Okay.
So which one is real and which one is fake? Is Sans O's real, or is Orleans? Is that one real?
Sans O's is real, and it is a game where you have to throw Cheerios onto a little pole. And it's infuriating and bad.
Jasper, unfortunately, Sans O's was fake. Orleans was real. Here's the most wild, which I think this encapsulates like a whole swath of board games. Right. During the medieval's goings-on around Orleans in medieval France, you must assemble a following of farmers, merchants, knights, and monks to gain a supremacy through trade, construction, and science.
Wow. Okay, very cool.
French board games, they go hard.
French board games, there we go.
Okay. Jasper, I'm going to give you the title and the summary because I want you to succeed, and you have to tell me if it's real or fake.
Okay.
Jasper, this one is called Twilight Struggle. Relive the Cold War and rewrite history in an epic clash between the United States and the USSR.
That's 100% real, and it shouldn't be.
It's 100% real, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
There's something about board games, like if you split the board game fandom down the middle, one half wants to just play party games, and maybe it gets a little crunchy, but
whimsy.
And the other half of the board game fandom wants to relive history so specifically, but they can't get in a time machine, so they use meeples instead.
Yeah, crazy. Wild. I mean, I want to open that up just to see what the hell the mechanics are like.
Can you believe it's so crunchy, Jasper? It so
would be
crunchy.
Unbelievably crunchy. And the whole aim is to not do the thing. Yeah. So I don't...
Stop it.
Just stop that from happening. So, okay. Yeah, sure.
This was a little bit of a bait for you as well, because the word Twilight also is a really big trigger word in board games. Like, if the word Twilight is in a game, you know that this game is going to take 8 hours.
Yeah, 100%. And is going to be so complicated that you're going to get your 5th time playing it and you're going to go, oh, shit, we've been doing that wrong
We've been doing it wrong the whole time. That's why we keep losing. Yeah. That's why the USSR keeps taking over the United States, right?
Yeah. I would actually, if I may, Eric, to hijack this for just a second.
Please.
To shout out a board game that I got to play the other night, and I fucking loved it.
Go, do it.
It's called Veiled Fate.
Okay.
And essentially, the premise of this game is you draw a card at the beginning, which tells you which demigod you're going to play as, or in fact, not you're going to play as. Sorry, but you're going to you're connected to them, right? So like you want them to do well, and basically the aim of it is that you have all these demigods floating around the board. Anyone can move any demigod they want, and you are trying to get your demigod to have the most renown by the end of the game. Mm-hmm. But it's honestly like a fantasy version of poker. I was playing it, and it is amazing. It's like you're trying to suss out who the person's demigod is, whilst trying to figure out what's the best moves that you could possibly make. And there's so many fun little game mechanics of how you can switch things up, change things, punish certain gods, reward certain gods, and you're constantly trying to bait and switch and make people think, oh, maybe I'm this one, and it is a really, really fun game that actually slapped 2-player.
Really?
Like actually, because it was like poker, but almost like you had other players, because there's 9 demigods.
Oh,
so
okay.
Do you know what I mean? We didn't figure out who the other person was until like literally the last like 2 moves, and then it was like. It's a very, very fun game. I really enjoyed it, and I would absolutely recommend it, because I'm constantly on the lookout for like good 2-player games that have repeatability, and this is like right up there as like a cracking 2-player game that 100% you could play this 1,000 times. It's so good.
Honestly, we're also going to have like a whole episode devoted to 2-player board games and video games and tabletop RPG experiences. We should definitely do that. Let's have another person who's married on here and just work it out.
Just work it out. Just absolutely work it out.
Yes. Ben Hansen suggested something called Dust Biters, which was really good for 2 people.
Okay.
So I can send you that link as well when he was on the show.
Hell
yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, Jasper, I promise now that we're out of the game, I would never lie to you. And I'm so glad that we get to do this for another season, another year, all the way around the sun.
All the way around the sun, baby.
We're gonna see all the different holidays that are in Animal Crossing, which is the only way that I can mark time.
That's the only way. Eric's brain is so broken by his Nintendo Switch.
It's really, really tough. But hey, Jasper, where can people find you on the internet, buddy?
You can find me at JW_Cartwright on all of my social medias. You can find me at 3 Black Halflings, Performance Capture Podcast. and a myriad of other places, including right here on Games and Feelings. Check out my social media. There's some really cool stuff coming. I'm working on some really awesome things, and I really can't wait to tell everyone. My head might explode because that's how exciting all this.
All the success. You deserve it, buddy.
Thank you.
You can find me on the internet. You can find me on Twitter at L_Silvero, EL_SALVRO. My name if I was a Lucha Libre wrestler. And you can find Games and Feelings on Twitter at Games and Feelings, like linens and things. And also, but we're regular on Instagram because Elon Musk didn't like us, so we had it. But, Zuck was like, I don't know. I'm in the metaverse. We have pants now. But please keep submitting your questions over on the website. You can find that at gamesandfeelings.com or just in the link in the episode description. Tell a friend. Tell people about the show. We're out here, buddy. We're out here. Out here. Jasper, it's so nice to just vibe with you and to hang out. And remember, Jasper, remember.
I'm going to remember it.
There's nothing in the instruction manual about feelings. Not even in Olance. Olance. Games and Feelings is produced by Eric Silver and edited and mixed by Mischa Stanton. The theme music is Return to French Toast Castle by Jeff Bryce, and the art was created by Jessica Boyd. Find transcripts for this episode and all episodes at our website, gamesandfeelings.com. Until next time, press X to enjoy the podcast.